Welcome to the Inner Journeys Outer Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Corey Jacobson. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I think a lot of people struggle with, including myself, which is changing a behavior or starting a new habit. And I think it's very difficult to do that and be consistent with it because we make a couple of mistakes and we have old habits, and old habits die hard. The longer you have that habit, the harder it is to change it. So, the mistakes I think we make is we try to do too much too soon. So if you're trying to start, let's say you're trying to go on a new diet, and it is radically different than what you've currently been doing. So if your normal American diet, you're eating out every so often, you're having fried foods, you're having sweets, you're having no holds bar on what you're eating, and then you try to go to something that's super restrictive. If you can stick with it, it'll be great. But what happens after your time is done with that? So most people are doing this like for a month or 2 months or 3 months at most. The time you stop doing that, you go right back to your old habits. So you want to make it way easier than that. And how you can do that, we'll keep it with the diet for the example of this behavior change or starting a new habit, is basically baby steps, very small, easy things that you can do for a week or 2 weeks and then put something else on it and then put something else on it. So if we went with diet, instead of thinking about I'm going to radically change what I'm currently eating, I'm going to add in one thing. So I'm going to continue eating what I've normally been eating, but I'm going to add in something that's good for me. So I'm going to add in broccoli to my meals, to one meal. Making it that simple can have a very big change over a long period of time. We're not looking to accomplish this change in a week. In order for it to stick for a long period of time, which should be everybody's goal, to be a healthier, better person, is to make it easy, make it a long-term change for the rest of your life, not for 30 days, not for 60 days. Making sure that we're trying to stack these habits slowly over time so it's there for the long haul, rather than just a short window period of time, because we want to lose weight really, really quickly. We want to see results instantaneously. You can try that. It may work, but it'll backfire in the long run because you'll gain the weight back. So if I am going to make a sustainable change, I'm going to add one thing in. I'm going to add broccoli into my dinners for 2 weeks. Then I'm going to start adding something else in. And now it doesn't have to be just you're adding only broccoli in, let's say just green vegetables for dinner. So I'm having a green vegetable for dinner every single night. Now, after 2 weeks, I've mastered that. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add in fruit to my breakfast. So I'm going to have apples, bananas, or blueberries, or raspberries. But I'm going to add in fruit into my breakfast. See, what happens when we're adding these things in and we're slowly making these changes is naturally you're going to eat less of something else when you're adding something good in. So rather than thinking about, I'm going to get rid of all the junk, which you shouldn't be buying the junk when you're trying to make this change anyway, but you're still not totally restricting things. Because when you totally restrict things, you go from periods of 0 to binge. And the binge is what's going to keep the weight on. So if you can slowly make this change of adding something in for dinner and then adding something in for breakfast and then adding something in for lunch, you are going to see an incredible long-term change in who you are as a person, what you eat on a daily basis, and you're going to eventually see the results. So the results will come over time. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, but it's way better if it's 6 months or a year if it lasts the rest of your life. If you lose 30 pounds after 2 years and you keep those 30 pounds off the rest of your life, you're going to be in such a better, healthier position than you would if you lost 30 pounds in 30 days and then gained 40 pounds in the next 60 days. So we don't want to go through this boom and bust period of I'm going to try to lose as much weight as possible, and then I'm going to rebound. And then I'm going to try to lose as much as possible, then I'm going to rebound. Rather than going through that yo-yo shit, why don't we just go for a slow, long-term plan that's going to help you achieve your goals over the rest of your life, because that's what's more important than the quick change. So another thing with diet is a lot of people want recipes for this, that, and this, so I can make this really tasty thing. Make it simple. because simple is going to be an easier change than going for all these complex things that take a lot of time to prepare. A lot of these complex recipes can take 3 hours to make, where you could just go with a very simple, like 5 ingredient recipe of meat, vegetable, some sort of carb. So probably like a potato or rice or something like that. And then whatever seasonings you want. If you just go with that, that's going to be a lot easier to make. It's going to take a lot less time, a lot less thought, and it's going to be healthier for you in the long run as well, because it's easier to do, which means you're going to do it more often. Also, preparing meals ahead of time. So once you get to the point where, if you're a very busy person, you've started to make these changes. So if I'm putting a vegetable in at night, I'm putting a fruit in the morning, I need to start preparing my lunches because that's where I do the worst. So after a couple of weeks of you've made this good change, now maybe on Sundays or Saturdays, you're taking time, 2 hours, 3 hours to meal prep your lunches for the week. And that way you're set up for a better success in your lunches too. So now we've made a change to our dinner. We've made a change to our breakfast. We've made a change to our lunch. If that took you 2 months to make all those changes and they're sustainable, you don't feel overwhelmed while you're doing them, you don't go back to old habits while you're doing them, that is the recipe for success. And that is how you change your behaviors. Behavior change takes way longer and it can be a lot harder if you try to do too much too fast. You need to slowly build this in, and it can't be fast because fast always fails. So things that you want to do in your health and your fitness, think about making it very, very easy. Think about stacking with an existing habit. So if you know on Sundays you are already cleaning the kitchen, before you clean the kitchen, you should cook and then clean the kitchen. So you're stacking it on top of different habits that you're already going to do. So that way it makes it easier to remember to do them, and then it makes it easier to continue doing them because it's already attached to a habit that you're currently doing. So avoid the mistakes of trying to change too much too soon. Avoid the mistake of completely restricting things in diet, and stack things. Make it very, very simple and easy to do, like way easier than you thought that it should be. Like you shouldn't go for the most complex thing in the world right at the beginning if you've never done it before. You should go for the simplest, like 2-foot distance thing instead of the mile distance. We should be going short and building on top of that. So make it very easy to do. And that is how you create lasting behavior change and how you start a habit that will stick with you for a long time. Thanks for tuning in to the Inner Journeys Outer Adventures podcast. We'll see you next time.